Welcome to Audit the Audit, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers the First Amendment, reasonable suspicion, and trespassing, and is brought to us by KULT News' channel. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. On June 17, 2024, KULT News reporter Mike Norton decided to conduct a First Amendment audit by filming and photographing a branch of the Washington Federal Bank in Bremerton, Washington from a public sidewalk. The interaction that followed was recorded by Mr. Norton and later on various officer body cameras.
How's it going?
How are you?
No complaints. And yourself?
Not much. Just curious what you're up to.
About 6 foot. What are you up to? I'm gonna say about 5'3".
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, no, just taking some pictures of the bank. Pictures.
You gonna do some cleaning or doing?
No, definitely no cleaning.
You know, we had some people, some clients that were like, oh, what do you guys get pictures for? I was like, I don't know.
It's a mystery. I had to tell them, it's a mystery.
Stay safe out here.
Hey, you stay safe in there.
Absolutely.
Although you're probably safer in there than I am out here.
Probably.
Yeah. Have a good one. There you go. That's how you do it. You got a problem with somebody outside of the camera. If you have a problem with somebody outside of the camera, you just close your blinds. It's not rocket science, man. The fact of the matter is, it's perfectly legal to walk around, at least in Bremerton, Washington, to walk around with a mask on, taking pictures in public.
As Mr. Norton continues to film and photograph from the sidewalk, a bank client calls 911 to report his activities.
It's 911, what are you reporting?
It's a non-emergency. I'm at the WaFd Bank here in Bremerton off of 303, and there is a man outside with a mega camera taking photos of the inside the bank.
And I'm so sorry, one more time, the name of the business?
Washington Federal. He's got a mask on.
Is he there right now?
Yep.
And he's
He
outside,
certainly
correct?
is. Yes, he is. And he's scoping, using his camera to scope into the bank.
Does he have any weapons with him?
I don't know.
Okay. I'm going to get a brief
He's got a-
description. Is he white, black, Asian, Hispanic?
He's white. He's got a blue cap on.
About how old does he look? I know it's kind of hard with a mask, but you can tell.
Maybe 40s, maybe 50s.
How tall is he?
I can't tell.
That's fine. Is he small, medium, or heavy build?
I don't know. And he's
Okay.
moving around.
Okay, blue cap, blue jacket, anything else?
No, and he just raised the camera.
And again, I want to make sure he's outside of the building, correct?
That's correct.
And I don't want you to do this, but I want to know, did anybody confront him or ask him why he's doing this?
No, I came into the branch and the girls were closing the blinds so that he wasn't able to take pictures. There is one window that's exposed to the north.
Is it like a phone,
So-
or is it like a big camera?
It's a big camera.
Well, what is your role there?
I'm a client of Washington
Oh,
Federal.
sure.
I was going to make a deposit.
Here, it does look like my partner is working on letting them know. Would you like follow-up
Okay.
contact from law enforcement? Again, you don't have to.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want the ladies to go ahead and lock the door?
It'll be whatever's their policy, whatever's best for them. I can go ahead
Okay.
and put a request to ask law enforcement, but I'm not absolutely certain. But again, you said you did want follow-up contact from law enforcement?
Yes, please.
Are you preferring contact in person there or over the phone?
No, in person.
Okay.
I think somebody needs to come to the branch.
Okay. And I just want to make sure, is there a reason why the employees aren't calling?
I don't know.
Okay.
I can't answer that.
That's okay. The individual that's outside, he doesn't look like he's related in any way to the bank, correct?
No.
Okay. Well, again, if nothing has changed so far, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let you go so I can take other emergency calls. But if anything changes before they get there, I want you to give us a call back on 911, all right?
I will. Thank you.
No problem. I'll let you go.
Bye.
There we go. Friendly neighborhood police officers here. Sheriff's office. I'm assuming there's not a bank robbery going on in there. I walked past this place and they're all dropping to the floor, and I was like, what the hell's going on in there? There you go.
Hi, can I help you?
No, thank you. I appreciate you asking.
Okay. Can I ask you why you're standing outside of a bank recording?
Well, you can ask.
Okay. What are you doing?
I'm not going to tell you, but you can ask. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Well, you're the subject of a radio call now because
What was the call about?
Suspicious behavior that you're standing outside of the bank, recording and taking photographs of the bank.
So somebody called and said that I was taking photos?
Yes, with your camera.
On a public
Yeah.
sidewalk. And you guys actually came out for that?
Yeah, we sure did.
Crazy.
Why wouldn't we?
I mean, if somebody called and said there's a Jew walking down the sidewalk, would you guys respond to that, or is it just people taking pictures? I don't understand. I mean, it's not a crime, nothing illegal.
But it is scary for the people inside. It's concerning.
Well, if it's scary for the people inside,
do you not believe it's concerning if you're outside photographing a bank?
I'll tell you, when people
Do you
are,
not think that's suspicious, sir?
when I do not actually.
Okay.
When people find things scary, I know fear makes people do strange things. For example, if I was afraid of somebody outside, I wouldn't send a woman out by herself, feet from the man, to confront him. I would, I'd stay inside, first of all. So a gal came outside and was talking to me. She didn't seem scared at all. And if she was scared, she had a funny way of showing it.
Was she an employee?
Yeah, I believe she was, yes.
Okay, well, so who called us was not an employee.
I have no control over that. So somebody called you and they said, there's a man outside taking photographs
of the bank.
Okay, are you under the impression that that's illegal?
What was that?
You're not under the impression that that is a crime, are you?
No, I'm saying it's suspicious behavior
Got it.
that you're standing out front of a bank recording.
Well, there's 10,000 reasons why somebody might be standing outside of a bank recording.
Okay.
And I'll be frank with you, to address...
Do you have any ID on you, sir?
Sure, but
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of that, though.
Do you mind handing it to me?
I do, actually, because I'm not a big fan of forfeiting my Fourth Amendment rights to placate the personal curiosity of yourself or somebody inside of a
It's
bank.
not of myself.
No.
I didn't just pass along and see you standing here recording and choose to
it's okay.
stop you.
I'm gonna...
You were the subject of a radio call. There's a difference there.
It's not a crime.
I'm just telling you.
All right, I'm telling you, it's not a crime.
But I
So
can still identify who you are.
you can ask.
Deputy T. Dominguez of the Kitsap County Sheriff's Office responds to the 911 call. When she arrives, she requests Mr. Norton's identification, and he refuses to provide it, arguing that she must have reasonable suspicion that he has committed a crime in order to demand identification. Unlike many other states, Washington does not have a so-called stop and identify statute that requires pedestrians to identify themselves to police officers. However, even if Washington law did require citizens to identify themselves during lawful Terry detentions, it is questionable whether the officers would have the reasonable suspicion of criminal activity necessary to require Mr. Norton to identify himself under these circumstances. As we have discussed before here on ATA, courts have consistently recognized that filming in public is protected by the First Amendment. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which has jurisdiction over Washington state, recognized a quote-unquote First Amendment right to film matters of public interest in the 1995 case of Fordyce versus Seattle. The Ninth Circuit reaffirmed this right in the 2018 case of Askins versus U.S. Department of Homeland Security, stating that, quote, the First Amendment protects the right to photograph and record matters of public interest. The government's ability to regulate speech in a traditional public forum, such as a street, sidewalk, or park, is sharply circumscribed. It is rare that a regulation restricting speech because of its content will ever be permissible. Therefore, it is likely that a court would determine that Mr. Norton's filming of the bank was protected by the First Amendment, and, because he was on a public sidewalk, it is highly improbable that a court would find that any restriction against filming the bank could be lawful. Still, it is important to note that in some circumstances, First Amendment protected activity can contribute to reasonable suspicion supporting a lawful detention. For instance, in the 2017 case of Turner versus Driver, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals granted qualified immunity to officers who conducted a Terry stop on an individual who was filming the quote-unquote routine activities of a police station from a public sidewalk across the street, despite the fact that the court recognized the existence of a First Amendment right to record the police in public. In reaching its conclusion, the court argued that, quote, it is appropriate for the police to take into account the location of the suspicious conduct and the degree of the potential danger being investigated. What is not suspicious in one location may be highly suspicious in another. The court also reasoned that filming a police station, quote, potentially threatened security procedures at a location where order was paramount, determining that a reasonable person could have suspected that the filmer was, as they call, casing the station to prepare for criminal activity, and therefore could have found his filming sufficiently suspicious to warrant a brief detention. Therefore, given the low standard of evidence required to meet the reasonable suspicion threshold, a court could conceivably conclude that Deputy Dominguez had the reasonable suspicion to detain Mr. Norton if she had chosen to do so. Regardless of whether or not she had reasonable suspicion, however, Washington law did not authorize her to demand that Mr. Norton identify himself, although she did not violate the Fourth Amendment by simply asking for his ID. And it is likely that a court would conclude that Deputy Dominguez would not have the authority to order Mr. Norton to stop filming the bank under these circumstances.
And I can refuse because I haven't committed a crime. You have to have a reasonable and articulable suspicion of a crime. Don't you agree,
And I could
Deputy
believe
Dominguez?
that you could be doing this for purposes of committing a crime.
I could be doing this for purposes of committing a crime.
Yeah, you're photographing a bank.
Yeah, I guess I could be, theoretically. I'm
Don't
not.
take my picture.
Are you serious?
Do not take my picture.
Are you serious? I'm taking
Yeah, I'm
32 frames per
absolutely
second.
serious.
Whoa,
Yep.
go, whoa, stay away from me. Hey, hey, hey. I will take your picture.
Okay.
It's perfectly legal. Boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. Have a good day, sir.
There you go.
Singapore 503 supervisor available. The subject here is uncooperative and refusing to answer any statements.
All the backup for them taking your photo? Is that what you're doing? No crime is being committed here.
I walked away
Dominguez.
now. He's
I would
continuing to follow
suggest-
me. Don't come any closer. Hey, I'm letting you know. Don't come any closer. You can stay right there if you want to
I'm on a
continue to
public
record.
sidewalk. I have
If
every
you want
right
to
to walk
continue to
up this
record, you can stay
I
over
have every
there.
right to walk up this sidewalk,
But
ma'am.
don't come any closer.
I'm walking up the sidewalk.
Okay, continue to walk up the sidewalk.
Now I'm watching you. Clearly.
This way, the subject.
Don't take
is
this
not
wrong way, but you've been drinking today?
Have I been drinking?
You've been drinking today?
Copy, thank you. And he is recording, just for units to be aware, and taking photographs of me. I have a feeling, just so you guys know I'm on, I have a feeling he's like a First Amendment person and rights. I don't know. He wouldn't talk. He didn't want to give me any info. He didn't want to give me his name. So I told him I'll start a supervisor this way then. They're concerned because he has been like zooming in with the camera. They don't know what he's trying to take pictures of inside the bank because he's standing on the other side where the window is. They want him trespassed. They don't want him
He's on the property
to
right
come
now.
back. Yeah.
He posted up off the property, so he already probably knows the game.
Yeah. So I figured whenever the supervisor gets here, I'll let them make that call if it's worth us trying to
you want
ID
a
him.
supervisor?
No, I called one. I'll explain after what I called one. And then he just started, he like took the camera like this and I told him get it out of my face and I tried to move and he's like, you're gonna not let me take pictures of you, and I kept moving in a circle around him and I was like, hey, have a good day, bye, and I just walked off and he just like followed me up and I was like, I told you to stop, you can wait on the sidewalk, don't come any closer.
Deputy Dominguez alleges that Mr. Norton aggressively invaded her space in his attempts to take photos of her, claiming that he put his camera directly in her face and that she tried to back away from him. However, her own body camera footage clearly contradicts her version of events.
I could be, theoretically. I'm not.
Take my picture.
Are you serious?
Do not take my picture.
Are you serious? I'm taking
Yeah, I'm
32 frames
absolutely
per
serious.
second. Whoa,
Yep.
go, whoa, stay away from me. Hey, hey, hey.
The body camera footage clearly shows that Mr. Norton was standing about 10 feet away from Deputy Dominguez when he raised his camera without moving towards her at all, and that Deputy Dominguez stepped towards him multiple times, causing Mr. Norton repeatedly to step back and even tell her to, quote-unquote, stay away from him.
And he was like, I can't walk on the sidewalk. And I told him, yeah, you can walk on the sidewalk, stay on the sidewalk then.
So, if the bank just wants him trespass and he's going to refuse to identify himself, then just fill out a trespass form and just take a picture of him. And that's it. Just verbally tell him, hey, you're not allowed back here, you're not for a year or whatever, and you can come back if you're trespassing, and that's about it. But he can stand on the sidewalk on public property and record as much as he wants. So.
Yeah. He was like, I don't know why they'd send a woman out here to confront me if I'm so scary. And I was like, well, the employees didn't call us. It was someone else. I don't know. He was being very...
So who wants him trespass then? The employees?
The bank. They said that they are concerned.
So if I were you, I'd just, do you have any of those trespass forms?
Yeah, I'm gonna have them go print one and then fill it out.
We'll just print it and start filling it out, and we'll just hang out. If you want to pull over here.
Yeah,
wait.
thanks.
Print two so you can keep one and hand it one to him.
Yeah.
Because he's not gonna.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
he
not
might
gonna
want
sign
one,
it.
honestly. So.
Technically speaking. Hey, what's up, buddy? Well, I think it's a first. I'm gonna go ahead and mute here.
Are we all good? You guys set Dominguez straight? She seemed real scared.
Yeah, he's being.
Here.
He's all screaming at me now, so. Yeah.
I don't want to leave in the middle of like a police investigation. I have to make sure we're all good. Dominguez seemed really scared.
Saying that Dominguez is
I
really
don't know
scared.
why. I just want to make sure you guys are good. You just know I'm just a guy out taking pictures.
Just a guy out here taking pictures is what he's saying. I think the plan is we're going to issue him a trespass notice. And whether he takes it or not, he's not supposed to come into the bank. We'll have him on camera. Huh? Or be on the bank or bank property. He's on the sidewalk now. Yeah, so we'll hand him the trespass notice. If he wants to sign it, he can sign it. If not, we'll just hand it to him and I'll be done with it. It doesn't matter if you accept it or not. If we have your image, if you come onto the property, you'll be arrested for trespass.
Deputy Lilly explains that the officers plan to issue a trespass notice to Mr. Norton, and that if he enters the bank property, he will be arrested for trespassing. Private property owners have broad rights to control access to their property, and Washington's criminal trespass statutes do not require a citizen to have been on the property before to sustain a trespassing conviction. All that matters is that at the time of entry, the individual is not allowed to be there. For instance, Section 9A.52.070 of the Washington Revised Code states that, quote, a person is guilty of criminal trespass in the first degree if he or she knowingly enters or remains unlawfully in a building. Likewise, according to Section 9A.52.080 of the Washington Revised Code, quote, a person is guilty of criminal trespass in the second degree if he or she knowingly enters or remains unlawfully in or upon premises of another under circumstances not constituting criminal trespass in the first degree. As Section 9A.52.010 of the Code explains, quote, a person, quote unquote, enters or remains unlawfully in or upon premises when he or she is not then licensed, invited, or otherwise privileged to so enter or remain. Although citizens are generally considered to be, quote unquote, privileged to enter private premises that are held open to the public for customers to visit, such as a bank, as Division 1 of the Court of Appeals of Washington explained in the 2005 case of State versus Belarus, quote, a private property owner may restrict the use of its property so long as the restrictions are not discriminatory. A person's presence may be rendered unlawful by a revocation of the privilege to be here. This right to exclude exists even if the property is otherwise open to the public. In the same vein, Division 3 of the Court of Appeals of Washington held in the 1998 case of State versus Kutch that the defendant's violation of a notice banning him from a shopping mall for 1 year constituted an unlawful entry. Accordingly, a court would likely find that it was lawful for the bank to, quote-unquote, trespass Mr. Norton from its property, even though he had not entered it, and that he could be lawfully arrested if he entered onto bank property after receiving the warning.
He's getting the camera right in her face, like encroaching on her personal space. I would agree, but that I wasn't there, I don't know.
So it seems Deputy Dominguez, the fragile little snowflake that she is, she got really scared when I started aiming the camera at her, which is really weird because I'd been recording her 32 frames per second from the minute she approached me. So I can't make heads or tails out of that. The camera scared her. I got this guy here. I don't know who this fellow is. And we've got this one here. And then there's another fellow over here. I think they're just trying to double check and verify that the First Amendment hasn't been rescinded yet.
All right, well, he's videotaping me as I'm walking around on my cell phone, so I'm gonna get off. All right, so the game plan, as I understand it, Tony's gonna issue him trespass notice and tell him he's trespassed. I don't think we need to go up and force to do that. Somebody with Dominguez would be fine.
I don't care, I can go up there.
Should see what car he's in.
I'm sure he's walking.
You want me or my trainee?
Well, I wrote you down.
Okay.
I don't want any.
Yeah.
He walked out that way somewhere. Okay.
like, am I free to go? And I was like, well, man, you haven't committed a crime. You're not being detained. So.
He was videotaping from inside.
Oh, from inside?
He was videotaping from the window inside, so we'll go this way in case we see him.
I don't think you can't come up this way without getting on.
Alright, let's go just talk to him. We don't need to go in force. I'll go with Dominguez. Gotta sit tight.
They got all the windows blocked successfully. There you go. Paranoid bank employees. I'm walking by and yes, I am. I'll have to check this out online. I might get arrested here in about 2 minutes. So if you want to stick around, I'll tell you. Take some footage of this if these guys arrest me, because I'm not going to forfeit my Fourth Amendment rights. They try to identify one go. You'll see it. You'll see the vehicle. Yeah, it's bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. Dominguez, are you still afraid of a camera? It looks like you got multiple cameras on you.
I'm serving you with a trespass notice.
Sweet.
The bank is trespassing you from the property.
From their property.
From
Sure.
their property, yes,
Yeah.
correct.
I got no problem with
if
that.
you trespass on their property, they will call us and you will be arrested.
Well, they're going to call you whether I trespass on their property or not, Dominguez.
Okay.
I haven't stepped foot on their property. Bless your heart. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Wait. You're not over her by chance, are you?
Sign it?
Do you have more seniority over? I do not want to sign that. Absolutely not. Dominguez, nice try.
Here's your copy.
Oh, thanks. Wait. Let me see. What does that say exactly?
You don't want the copy?
I'm just taking a look at it. Yeah, I'll take that. Sure. Peering into bank windows with camera recording. Interesting. All right. Bless your heart. Yeah, I'd get some additional training, Dominguez. You're scared of your own shadow. I'm walking up the sidewalk. You're 40 feet away and said, don't come any closer to me.
Did I tell you I was going to do anything to you? No.
You clearly,
you don't need to come
you
any
clearly
closer to me.
panicked when I aimed the camera at you on the sidewalk. You panicked.
Am I panicked right
A
now?
lot. No, you're not panicked right now because you got some backup here for you. All by yourself.
You think I'm scared, sir?
I think you're a chicken when you're all by yourself.
Okay,
All
well,
right.
you can believe whatever you want to believe, sir.
Well, I saw it with my own eyes. I mean, who do I believe? You or my lying eyes? All right.
You can believe whatever
You're dismissed
you
without further argument, Dominguez.
want. Okay, you have a good day, sir.
I'm having a great day. Now, we haven't seen Dominguez leave yet, so we'll stick around and keep recording. Dominguez is going out the back gate. I love it.
Mr. Norton shared his footage from the interaction, edited together with the body camera footage, which he presumably obtained through a public records request, on the KULT News YouTube channel on June 26, 2024. It is unknown whether he has filed a complaint against Deputy Dominguez. Overall, Deputy Dominguez gets a C- for demanding to see Mr. Norton's ID without the lawful authority to do so, for blatantly misrepresenting Mr. Norton's behavior to her co-workers, and for demonstrating fundamental misunderstandings of both the First Amendment and Washington state law. Rather than conducting an investigation to determine the facts and legality of the situation, Deputy Dominguez immediately confronted Mr. Norton and attempted to demand his ID. As mentioned before, Washington is not a stop-and-ID state, and citizens in Washington are not required to show their ID unless they have been lawfully arrested. Furthermore, filming a bank from a public sidewalk, while potentially alarming to untrained observers, is not inherently suspicious, especially in a jurisdiction where courts have explicitly recognized a right to record public matters in public forums. Rather than assessing the situation for actual criminal behavior, Deputy Dominguez defaulted to an investigatory stop built on social discomfort rather than articulable facts. Deputy Dominguez went on to falsely claim that Mr. Norton had aggressively intruded upon her personal space and placed his camera in her face, despite the fact that her own body cam footage clearly shows Mr. Norton was stationary and respectful of distance, while Deputy Dominguez repeatedly closed that space, causing Mr. Norton to backpedal and verbally ask her to quote-unquote stay away. These contradictory statements reflect a willingness to mischaracterize events in ways that could have justified a detention or even an arrest had the facts not been captured on camera. Officers carry tremendous authority in shaping the narrative of an incident, and when that narrative diverges so starkly from recorded evidence, it raises serious questions about their credibility. Although Deputy Dominguez did not physically escalate the situation, did not attempt to seize Mr. Norton's camera, and did not detain or arrest him, she failed at nearly every other aspect of this encounter. This interaction highlights how poor training and overreach can dilute public trust, even in interactions that don't result in arrest or force. And this encounter certainly could have resulted in a lawsuit if it had escalated any further. Mr. Norton gets an A for remaining calm and collected throughout the interaction, demonstrating a solid understanding of the First Amendment and applicable Washington state law, and for thoroughly documenting the encounter and acquiring the body cam footage. Mr. Norton's approach to the audit was tactically sound and legally defensible from the outset. He positioned himself on a public sidewalk, avoided entering private property, and recorded matters plainly visible from a public vantage point. At no point did he interfere with operations at the bank, threaten anyone, or act in a manner that could reasonably be construed as disorderly or provocative. His refusal to provide identification was based on a correct understanding of Washington law, and he expressed that understanding clearly and without hostility. His conduct reflects a mature grasp of civil rights jurisprudence and a commendable ability to remain calm under pressure. It should be noted that auditing a bank, as opposed to a government building or police department, does introduce a higher risk of being perceived as casing the location, especially in a post-9/11 surveillance culture. And under Turner versus Driver, certain types of First Amendment activity may contribute to reasonable suspicion when conducted near sensitive sites. But banks are not restricted zones, and nothing about Mr. Norton's conduct rose to the level of suspicious behavior. However, not all courts may share the same viewpoint regarding the level of suspicion associated with filming a bank, and I would advise other auditors to be cautious and intentional about the locations they choose to film. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic that you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out my second channel for even more police interaction content.